All right. Today's date is June 30th, 2026. Basically 5:30 in the afternoon here in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, United States of America. 54729. Well, I think it was in the early 90s after the mayor gave permission to roofie me one time, or during that roofie of the blackout bill and truth bill for no reason, once again, like always, back then and still this day. A individual in China had one of those satellites above me hacked. Well, while that truth bill and blackout bill was in me, of the mayor giving permission to going, oh, what did you do wrong this time with the person that he ordered to give to me and have put in my soda? Well, anyways, Chinese individual must have had one of those satellites hacked back then, which I was like, hey, someone should swallow a Bic lighter, see what happens to it. They only took it out 4 years ago. That's from the early 90s, and that's like 30 years that dude had that Bic lighter in his stomach. I've never met him. I barely have known anyone ever in my life. In fact, how could I? I was dealing with ICU for the last 20 years of fluid buildup around my heart and lungs from a pinched nerve to my gallbladder. From spring of 99, when I got jumped for being a snitch by Brett McNulty and Nicole McNulty, like Mike McNulty and all them. For doing nothing but speaking truth of the reality of people are breaking law, and authorities never cared. They were focused on me. Talk about double standards that are two-faced Chippewa County. And then if we take the fact that the laws of this nation are never going to spread across the whole world. There are 312 to 314 different nations in modern time. All of them have privacy rights, law. Ours, just because every nation has different categories of what treason is, ours are part of our laws of treason. Every nation has different categories of treason, though. There's 312 to 314 in modern time of 2026, way before even I was born, because World War II started that division of 312 to 314 nations. Well, ours, of that freedoms and rights, if you suppress the freedoms of others, or even yourself, actually is treason. Or if you break the rights towards others, that is treason. So privacy falls under that right of which you can't break, or else you're performing treason. Now, the definition of treason means traitor. That's of our nation. Every nation has different definitions of treason, though. Now, how'd that Bic lighter dude swallow that Chinese individual, swallow that Bic back then in the early 90s? He had to know someone that had one of those satellites above me hacked. They just pulled out like 2, 3, maybe 4 years ago here. It was practically still completely intact when they pulled it out. So you tell me how, if everyone in the world's watching me, why didn't they point out it? Because I don't break law. I never absolutely ever break law, especially our freedoms and rights, because that would cause me to be a treasonous traitor to our own nation, which you people fall in very nice and neatly. Especially, let's take state law with the definition of one of the forms of the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over, but getting the same result, expecting a different result, but still getting that same result, of me never breaking law, shows that you all fall under the category of insane, of that one form of definition of state law, of the definition of insanity. Seriously, 93 or so dude swallows a Bic lighter. 3-4 years ago, it's getting taken out of his stomach in China. While in China, swallowing that Bic lighter. I don't know him. I've never known anyone. I've already given you the whole list of people I've ever known, because while at that apartment, I was dealing with fluid buildup around my heart and lungs and other pinched nerves. I didn't get to know anyone. I was in too much pain. I didn't want to know anyone. Water splatters on me. I was in pain while doing dishes. So stop performing treason. You are getting people harmed outside of Chippewa County, because if China's even got me recorded, every other nation of the 300 and some nations got me recorded all the way back to the early 90s. Hey, world, if you ever know of any crimes ever committed of all those recordings of me, hand it to the Pentagon. Same with UN again. Hand it to the Pentagon so they can go, look, here's where he broke the law. Hey, Pentagon, why haven't you? No, because I don't ever break law. Why haven't they? Because they know I never break law. That's 8 billion people that I've always known. My entire existence from 82 until now, I never break law. And you're trying to pull the wool under the world's feet there and eyes and stuff? No, I don't work that way. You want to know why? because they already know I never break law. You're deceptive. Your lopsided investigation towards only me, but not taking the whole side of things by asking me even questions about this or that, and then which is an incomplete also, and you're just bullies. You're targeting me through bullying of that kind of style of no, that's just wrong. Incomplete, lopsided, that's targeting for no reason. You know I never break law. You even put a law that suppresses speech with the category of definition of disorderly conduct. If you say certain words, well, there's not supposed to be let's see here, not even just punishment, but like you can't get arrested for saying words. You're not supposed to with freedom of speech. There's not supposed to be what's it called again? Pursuit of unlawfulness under that category with freedom of speech. You're not supposed to be punished for only saying words and having no negative actions. That's called treason. That our government in this area and statewide is throwing down my throat. They're throwing treasonous laws at me because they can't find any other angle to put me under as a criminal. So they made up some bogus laws of treason to throw me under. Of if I don't shut up, well, I ain't gonna shut up. I will not die on my knees. I'd rather die on my feet. I'm not going to serve you. I'll only serve Christ. And you're suppressing of my freedom of religion also by not letting me stay within boundary of our freedoms and rights, as the Bible says, to having no unlawful treasonous laws of unlawful sins. You can have them all you want. That's your issue if you're having them when Christ comes back and you have them in front of him. That's your issue, not mine. I will never have any unlawful sins of treason, unlawful sins of felonies, unless you make some bogus junk up like you just have with the last 3 disorderlies. And a bail junk, now that's a disorderly. For only saying words. Even though you know you're purposely doing that just to throw me under the bus, to make it look like, no, that's communism. By your standards of going on the other side of freedoms and rights, that's communism. That is suppression of speech. That is not giving the freedom of speech. So once again, I hope you delusional retards in our state government and the courthouse here realize those are going to be your unlawful sins of treason when you're in front of the Lord. Whether you go to church or not, He's not going to look at it your way, because that's not freedom of speech, that's suppression of speech. He's going to say, why do you have unlawful sins of treason? He's going to ask you that. What's going to be your answer? And 98.6% of our founding fathers are Christian based. Toodaloo. And you go to church, but most likely? No, you don't. You just go in one ear out the other. You have unlawful sin of treason. Just directed towards me. Individuals of the courthouse and at the state level. Toodaloo.